In our first two drawing lessons, we dealt with linear perspective and we dealt with rectangular items. Fortunately, the world is full of other stuff besides rectangular items. There's a lot of round things. And by round, I mean circular. And as long as we're looking straight on at a circle, we're going to see a circle. But as soon as we move our vantage point, the circle changes. It becomes elliptical. And the more and more we move away from perpendicular to the circle and toward the plane of the circle, the flatter and flatter that ellipse becomes until it becomes the ultimately flat ellipse, straight line. What we have here is that at the top, we're looking at a circle on edge. In the middle, we're looking at a circle kind of obliquely. And at the bottom, we're looking at a circle almost straight on. Now, this is a good setup, but this is not how it would appear in the real world. And in the real world, it would appear like this. The largest circle would be at our eye level, pointing at the horizon, right? And the middle circle, since it's below our eye level, would be smaller. And the bottom circle, since it's way below our eye level, would be still smaller. In fact, it would be some sort of vanishing point down there somewhere. And you can see that linear perspective applies equally here as anywhere else. I want to get something out of the way that bothered me a lot for a long time and now fascinates me. I've drawn here a line, I've created a vanishing point, I've made my construction lines, and I'm just going to eyeball a square. So let's say that we go there, that's a square. Now, how do we find the middle of that square? Well, actually, this is more square, isn't it? Like that? Okay. So we find the middle of the square by going here, and there's your middle, and that would project out like here somewhere. So if we wanted to draw the correct ellipse, it would go here, 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 and here. And we would have something looking roughly like this, right? Clearly, the front of the ellipse is bigger than the back of the ellipse. But I'm telling you, that doesn't matter. This is correct, but the human eye judges a lot of things and judges them quite incorrectly. As long as you give the eye some kind of information, it'll do wonders with it. What I'm saying is, if it bothers you that just a plain ellipse is incorrect, yeah, you're right. If it doesn't bother you, forget it, because I pay no attention to this and it works for me. Okay, so let's put this together into something useful. Let's make a flower pot. Top of the flower pot, bottom of the flower pot, center line of the flower pot. I want to have the bottom the same size either side of the center line, about like that. The top, I want bigger, maybe like that and like that. We'll bring this line out a little bit. Now, bring this down. Bring this down. Let's put a straight part on the top, which there usually is. And now it's just necessary to maybe draw in maybe like this. Maybe the same thing on the other side. Okay, there's our flower pot. Now, well, gosh, this one isn't so great, is it? Let's go to here. That'd be better. Now, let's say that our eye level is just above the top of the pot. So what we're going to have is an ellipse it's going to be like this, going here to here. So it's going to look something like this. And I'm not going to spend too much time on accurate drawing, but you can see how you could do that. There you go. Now, this one here is going to be somewhat lower, further away from our eye level, and therefore, whatever this is here, this one is going to be a little bit more. Maybe like that. Now, you can't see inside anymore, but you sure can see the outside of it. This is going to come from here, down to here, and up to there. So now we have a flower pot that's starting to look like something. Do I have to be very accurate here? Nah. Like I said, you're going to find that the human eye accepts an awful lot of stuff as real that isn't at all real. And the bottom, if it's to be realistic, is going to come way down like that. Much more so than this little thing, maybe that much even. So now we're going to go like this. How do we make this thing round? We're ready to buy the roundedness of the flower pot. But we can really do a job with it if we just say, okay, let's shade it in. So it's kind of like, let's say it's dark over here. And then as it gets to, let's say, this would be pretty uniform dark. Maybe a little bit darker here than here, but not too much. And then we'd suddenly get to an area where light would hit it obliquely, and this would be somewhat lighter, fading off into no darkness at all. And we could do the same thing down here. We put a nice shadow edge under here. That tells everybody where the light's coming from. And then we just do the same thing here. And then say that it's somewhat lighter here. Maybe we can suggest a shadow on the surface that the pot is laying on. What the heck, we could even throw the shadow from the pot. It's tapered, right? We have a flower pot. Of course, we have the opposite shadow in here. There you go. Completely believable. I could put in a lot of time and have drawn this much better than I did. Doesn't matter. We got it. That's all there is to it when we're talking about circular stuff. But there are round objects that are not circular. Like, well, how about a pear? How do we deal with this? Well, for us, this is really easy because you just shade it in and it's a pear. You got to decide where the light source is coming from. So we could kind of do it this way. And then it gets not quite as dark over here. And now, since the light source is coming from above, maybe we'll get a little shadowing down here and then a little oblique, a little less here. Over here, there might be a little less, and over here, a little more. Less because the light is coming down from above, presumably. And if you just want to make it look better, let's again cast the shadow of the pear. You may remember from the lesson Shadows in the Landscape that the object that casts the shadow is darker than the shadow it casts. So that's our approach to round objects, and I hope you're fairly well equipped now to handle them.